Hi, everyone. Welcome to the CHP podcast. My name is Ariana Scalfo, and I am the Director of Coaching here at CHP. Today, I am joined by Aaron Travers. He is an Irish athlete living in Northern Ireland. We got turned on to him and everything that he's doing by one of our coaches, Sean. And when we looked at his page, we were immediately like, this kid's crazy because you are 6'6". You are 240 pounds and you have a 16-minute 5K. Is that correct?
Yeah, 16:20.
Nuts.
It's not quite 16 yet.
I love that you're adding the seconds. That's a very runner thing to do, and I appreciate you for that. Runners don't round down.
No.
So yeah, it's great to have you on. It's great to get to meet you. You and I have barely chatted before the podcast started, so there's still a lot about you that I don't know. So I'm just eager to hear. You have clearly done quite a few awesome things. I know you hold several world records, especially in the ergs. I know that you're currently training for a sub 242 marathon, which is awesome. I know you have several sponsors. You have Optimum Nutrition, VO Breathing, and then Relentless. So tell me kind of, how did you end up here at 26 years old? Kind of like what brought you to this point in like training history, life, what made you choose, hey, I want to set a world record on the rower?
Oh, it was the ski. It was the ski.
Oh, the ski, yes.
Yeah. No, my rowing isn't good. It will be, but it's not yet. It's not.
Very humble.
It's not.
Yeah, how did you end up here?
So I started Gaelic football. I don't even know what age it was. Probably around 5 or 6. I don't know. And I was never really massively into sport. I didn't excel in sport through like school or anything. Then when I got to about 16, the age of 16, I was slowly losing more interest in football. I was like, I don't want to play this anymore. But I stayed at it until minor level, which over here I think I was 17 or 18 when I left football. I started boxing previous to this, about 17. I tried to get into boxing earlier, but mum didn't want me going up and getting too many blows to the head. So I started boxing then when I was 17 and had my first fight within a couple of months. I love boxing. I boxed for probably about 5-6 years. I left in 2022, I want to say. I'm not sure of the exact timeline. But yeah, I left in 2022 and I didn't know what I was going to do. I literally hadn't a clue. I was boxing for obviously a couple of years, loved it, but I didn't see the point in going professional. I wasn't a world beater. I was good at boxing, but it wasn't like I'm going to be something special in this sport. And I didn't think it was worth it going in, getting no money, and you're getting punched in the face for what, like for a medal. Like realistically, that's all I was going to get was a medal. I wasn't going to get money at some stage. So I made the decision of leaving boxing. And around that time, I had started in a gym in Oma, doing like functional fitness, and I was loving it. And the coach in there actually reached out to me and he said, "We have a ticket, a last minute ticket. I think the HYROX over in Glasgow. It was in 11 days, and the coach in there texted me or rang me, I'm not sure, and he said, Glasgow is in whatever day's time, 11 days or whatever, ticket going if you want it. And I rang my fiance, Kira, and I asked, should I take it? And she said, yeah, go for it. And I ended up taking the ticket, going over to Glasgow on the boat, and I came fourth in my age group. Now I didn't even know what HYROX was at this stage. I remember talking to the coach in there, like must have been the day or two before I was in, and I was like going through the stations. I was like, what's after this station? So the ski ergs first, what? So I didn't really know what the layout was, but I went over, I came fourth in my age group, and then that qualified me. Back then, I think I got a 1 hour and 4 minutes in the open division. Now, if you got that, you wouldn't come anywhere near fourth.
It's crazy.
It's
Yeah.
crazy, like the times. But I ended up qualifying for the World Championships in Nice, and that was 3 months before the World Championships. So then I had 3 months of training, more dialed in training, and I didn't know. I think it was like the week after. Obviously, then it was a roll down position.
Yeah.
I think third. I think back then it was like the top three places. So I got a roll down. Uh, One of the guys must have already qualified, and then I took the world ticket and I went out and I came 15th in my age group, and with a time of 106. So it just
Yeah.
shows you the standard.
Yep.
A time of 106, and then yeah, I was like, right, this is for me. This is more. Uh, this is something I enjoy doing, and it's something I'm willing to put the time and work into. So I put the head down, and within a year, I got my 106 down to a 56. Within about must have been about 4 races, maybe 3 races. I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the exact timeline, but even now I don't race that often. So I haven't. That's my PB, and it's been my PB for a while. Since I last March, but I haven't raced that frequently, to be honest. I've been probably too busy doing other dumb shit,
Well, that
and
means
I'm
it's
not.
hard to get into.
Yeah, I heard Jack Driscoll on about like what like he was obviously lifting like heavy weights and all this, and now he's like elite 15. But he was saying in one of the podcasts, I might have you has he been on this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what podcast it was on, but I remember him saying he might have actually only put this video out on his page that for him to get into the elite 15, he needed to only focus on HYROX.
Yeah.
And I think at this stage, I'm not willing to do that. Um, there was a stage where I was close probably to the elite 15. I was ranked number 29 or 28 in the world. Um, but I'm enjoying my training, and I'm enjoying lifting heavy weights, and I'm enjoying running fast, and I'm only 26, so if I want to dial it in, I think maybe I'm not saying I will get into Elite 15 because God, like the fucking standards mental,
Yeah.
um, it's ridiculous. But I don't think I'm willing to just dedicate solely to HYROX just yet, to be honest. But yeah, that's a really long-winded answer
No, I was
to your
perfect.
question.
I think it's great because it kind of shows why you got into running in the first place, but that you clearly were starting from a place of having a bunch of history and football. Um, so, being able to jump into running, when did you log that 16, 12, 16, 14?
1628. It was last year at some point.
Mm-hmm.
This year I've done two road races. I've done a 10 mile road race, which I got 57 minutes in, and I done a half marathon, which I done an hour and 17 minutes in. Um,
It's
so
fast. Like, can you see over all the other runners as you're running?
yeah, I think when people see me like coming up to the start line, they're like, "Look at the size of this guy!" Like, and I'm
Mhm.
standing next to runners, and they're like
Mhm.
probably like 70 kg, and
Yeah.
there's me, and I'm just like I'm 110 kg.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't be here.
and yet, and yet, I think it's so impressive. It takes so much your wattage to move that fast. Like you're the power you're producing at your
Yeah.
size. Just your body weight is insane. And to be able to sustain that, your threshold has to be insane. Like it's just
Yeah,
really
like
cool.
I didn't just start running last year. It would have been during during school, not like during school, but like during my school days. I would have been running with my father. He he got me into running, and it would have been up at the Carrickmore Runners. That's where I'm from. And I would have been up there a couple of nights a week, and I loved running. I did love it. Um, just probably a pity I'm not. Well, I love being this weight, but at the same time, I'm like, if I was lighter, I'd probably be a lot quicker. But um, yeah, he got me into running, and from there, it's probably like it's always been something I've done. Even during university days when I wasn't taking training as seriously, I was still going out for my running, and doing a bit of gym stuff. So like running, sort of something always I've done since probably the age of 13, 14. And obviously then with football as well. So
Mhm.
that all probably stood to me as well.
Yeah, it's great to see. One of the common, I'll say common stumbling blocks for larger athletes is that their whole lives they've been told that they're not going to be good runners, so they don't. They're, you know what I mean, like that they're just told that they're not built for it. They're told that they're not runners. They'll line up at a starting line, like you said, and just feel out of place.
Yeah.
And so they don't run consistently. And one of the biggest things that aids individuals that are larger than the runner average is efficiency. And that comes with practice and skill development and just running a lot. And when you're a larger individual, you can't run a lot during a week. You have to run a lot over time to develop
Yes.
that kind of efficiency and skill. And I just think it really does you credit that you took being, a taller individual and your dad just encouraged you to run anyway. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Um,
Like my dad would be tall as well. He's 6 foot. Well, he was 6'4". In his old
mhm.
age, he's shrinking a wee bit, but um,
I love to hear that.
he was 6'4", and he probably weighed, like, he wouldn't have been weighed my, like, he probably was about 15 stone, 14 stone maybe. So he would have been, I don't know what that is in pounds, 210 pounds
200
maybe.
something. Yeah.
So he was still a heavy runner, definitely. But yeah, he's the one that got me into the running, like. Um, but yeah,
That's brilliant. I think it's also great too. Like, I'm proud of you for avoiding the drop everything and do HYROX like
yeah,
temptation that people get. Because you're right. It's at this point it's extremely competitive, and like you said, you're 26. To train for HYROX is to stop training for a lot of other things.
yeah,
The fitness translates, right? Translates really well, but it does require you to really focus on stations, running. Um, it's a style of training that's pretty time intensive if you want to be elite 15 because there's so many things to work on. Um, and I don't know. I think it's great that you're just like, I don't want to do that because I don't enjoy it. Like I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
yeah.
Just
Like,
credit for
I
that because
understand why people do it. Like, I understand there's incentives, there's this big sponsors now.
yeah.
Like, there's full time athletes now in HYROX, and that's great. But I just feel like I probably train in between 18 and 20 hours a week now. If I was to dedicate that solely to getting progressing in HYROX, that would mean that I would have to stop lifting, like back squatting when I'm back squatting, like deadlifting when I'm deadlifting. It's just, I just feel like it wouldn't be for me. Um,
Mhm.
and I probably realized that at the start of this year. So I was like last year, I was solely HYROX, 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 and
Locked in.
I was progressing, but this year I started running like a wee bit more. Obviously, them local events, the 10 miler and the half marathon, and I was like, there's definitely more to just solely focusing on HYROX.
Yeah. And I mean, the cool thing is if you're staying strong and working on your running, if you go back to HYROX, it'll be an easy transition. Like
Yeah,
you're building fitness with this time. You're not training.
exactly, and then it'll just be right. I need to get more efficient at the stations because the fitness is there. It's
Mhm.
just really getting dialed in on those, especially burpees and lunges.
Yeah, you're still
Those are
getting
my weakest
tall.
stations.
Yeah. Each
So they would,
burpee for you is probably like feels like taking an elevator.
yeah,
It's forever. Um, yeah, I remember. I mean, I'm only 5'8", so I'm not even tall for a girl. But I remember I did a trail race, and I was about 170 pounds at the time. I'm still around that. I haven't weighed myself in a while, but I remember getting to the start line and like the photos of the start line. I look massive. Like I look absolutely massive. And I remember I finished the race and one of the men that I came in with was like, "You're bigger than me. Why are you bigger than me?" like, why are you bigger than me? Like, because I just was like muscular, and I just remember laughing because I was like, I don't know, I lift weights, but it is funny, like
But like that
realizing.
would you would be suited to like other stations, like the sled push and the wall balls and the farmer's carry and
Yeah, yeah. When I did HYROX, if originally I was still one of the larger female athletes at the start line. Now I there's no way I could keep up with the running. And like, yeah, I'd be able to do the sled push, but I'm just thinking about the burpee broad jumps for me.
yeah.
It's like I'm just heavy. It's hard. Like,
Yeah, like I got my burpees down to the quickest I've ever done burpees, maybe 250 and
mhm,
around that. And I just feel like there's men doing burpees now and it's like 215, 220, and I'm like, it doesn't matter what I do in the sled push, they're gonna catch me on the burpees.
mhm. Yeah,
You
that's
know?
the frustrating thing. Um, yeah, it's crazy. It's definitely a sport where, as I'm just thinking about CrossFit, how a body type emerged after 6 or 7 years of consistent CrossFit games. Um, like an ideal body type
Yeah.
presented itself, where it was like average height, stocky, sort of a gymnast build. And there's been some aberrations like Patrick Villner, Tia Claire Toomey is a little bit taller. Um, but as the years wore on, these athletes at the start line, the ones that win and place well consistently are usually a similar body type. And I'm seeing the same thing pan out in HYROX. There's a lot more height difference, which I think is cool. Um, but yeah, there's definitely like a weight factor now in HYROX that's kind of frustratingly unavoidable.
Seems to be like in the 80s, you know.
Yeah.
I think like Alexander Ronkovich, he's in the 80s, I'm nearly sure. I could be
Hmm.
wrong with that. 80 something kg.
Yeah.
And then like the likes of Sean Noble, uh, Tim might be low 80s. But yeah, it seems to be in and around that.
Hmm.
Hunter's obviously he's sort of like an
The aberration.
anomaly. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like a brute. But what weight is Hunter? 95 kilo,
um,
about 210, 215 pounds or something
I
like that.
think he's hovering between 205, 210. So like 90 to 95 kilos seems to be his sweet spot. Whenever he cuts lower than 205, um, he just
Yeah, he did.
doesn't
I
perform
think he did
well.
that in Nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, he lost a lot of weight in Nice
Yeah.
or for Nice. Sorry.
Yeah, and it just didn't work out for him. But he's been training at that body weight for so long.
Yeah,
Like, he's probably his most effective at that body weight because that's what he's used to, and that's where he's used to training and fueling and
yeah,
existing. He's been in HYROX since HYROX was a thing.
yeah,
So
exactly. And he's won multiple world records
yeah,
and
mm,
world championships. So
yeah,
I just think that yeah, that's probably just suited for him.
mm,
Um, I know for me, my body weight, I've always well since like boxing, I was probably in around 120 kilo, maybe just under. So I was like super heavyweight.
mm-hmm,
Um, but when I stopped boxing, I was doing actually during lockdown. I was doing a lot of ultra running. Um, I've done the 30 mile, 100 kilometers, so 64 mile. I've done 100 mile. Um, and it was all around the weight that I'm at now. So I just feel like
mm-hmm,
my body weight, like it's always sat at this, and my body, as you say, it's what I'm used to. You know,
yeah,
as for other athletes, I think it is. I think they need to stop focusing so much on weight and um do what they're used to because that'll probably bring the best results.
yeah. There's definitely diminishing returns with
Yes.
fluctuating your weight, especially making it lower. I mean, the whole time you're cutting, you're leaving performance on the table.
Yeah.
You might as well just work harder
Yeah. Exactly.
and maintain the weight that you're at. So it's definitely, I'm very happy that Hunter is still competing at the body weight that he's at, just to kind of like show athletes that, if you're 215, like you still could run a 53. Like it's possible.
Oh
You
yeah,
can see it.
definitely.
Um, and I think it's It's really cool. I did not know that you ran a 100 miler. So knowing that you have all these different distances under your belt, did a specific distance speak to you or feel more comfortable or more interesting to you? Or do you feel like you're still in that like trying new things is just fun because it's novel like phase?
I don't think I'll do another ultra. Um,
Hmm.
although in saying that, I'm very much a person that takes notions, and like when I done the 100 miler, I did no preparation. Like it was, I
You
done
just
the
did
hundred,
it.
I done the 100 kilometers, and I'd finished it. It might have been a couple of months later, and I remember one of my clients saying to me, we were chatting about the 100 kilometers, and I remember him saying something like, "Do you think you'll ever do 100 mile?" And in the back of my head, I was always like, "Someday." But then that evening, I went home again to my fiance, and I was like, uh, "Kira, I'm going to run 100 mile in 2 weeks." So on the way from my gym to my house, it's a 10-minute drive, and in those 10 minutes, I was like, "Right, so if I run 100 mile in 2 weeks' time, it's the only time that I'll get." Because it's in between different competitions. And I was like,
Hmm.
if I leave it too late, if I leave it a week later, I'll be eating into like time where I could be training and focusing on the actual event that I want to do well in.
Hmm.
So on the drive home, I was like, right, so this is the date. So I went home. I told Kira, I was like, I'm doing 100 mile in 2 weeks, and Kira's always like, she's always supported me. Like she was like, okay, that's no problem.
Yeah. Kira's
She,
like, all right.
she was probably like, this is just what you do. Um, so then 2 weeks later, I done the 100 mile. Now I'm not going to lie, it almost makes see the last 10 mile. It was holy God, it was brutal. It
Yeah.
was just mentally draining. I remember running around the field, the Carrickmore football field, and it was about 95 mile in, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning or something.
Oh,
And I was like, why am I doing this to myself? But now I was raising money for a good cause. So obviously that kept me going, and I was trying to like stay awake, but I was like,
yeah.
this is brutal. But then the
Hmm.
last 5K, I must have got like a second wind, and I was like, I'm nearly there. So let's just.
Yeah.
I think probably like the last 5K was one of my fastest. I was like, I want to go
Like on
home.
the horse to the bar and kind of
Yeah,
like get me out of here.
yeah.
That's crazy though that you did that with only 2 weeks of prep. Like, how did your body feel when you were done? Like, what was recovery like for you?
The 100 mile. I done that on a Saturday. I was back in the gym on the Monday. Now I was sore. Obviously, I was doing a light session on the Monday, but I remember doing the 100K, and which is 64 mile, I think. Um, and it really really broke me like physically. But
Hmm.
what I think helped me with the 100 mile was, and now this might sound bizarre, I wasn't doing really any running. Might have been doing maybe like 10 mile a week. But
Yeah.
with the 64 mile, I was putting in a lot of preparation, so a lot of miles. So my body
Hmm.
was already beaten up, and
Yeah.
then going and adding 64 mile on top of that at my body weight, the week after, my body was like, "What the hell did you just do to me?"
Hmm.
Whereas after the 100 mile, yes, it was 100 mile. It's a big mileage, like to get done in one go. But I feel like I was able to get over it a bit quicker for some reason. And I was doing weight training as well. Obviously, the muscle. Um, like I feel like obviously when you're stronger, like your joints and all, they aren't as sore like the
More
next day.
durable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's much more durable. Um, but yeah, the 100K was probably the hardest. So it was.
That's interesting. I wonder too if like just the relative pace, like not that you went, not saying that you went a lot slower for your 100 mile, but I'm assuming that you were going slower for your 100 mile than your 100K. I wonder too if like just the stress of just functioning at a higher percentage of your threshold for longer
Yeah, that
also
probably was it. Yeah.
kicked your ass a little bit more too. And then for the 100, if you really just managed your output, you may not have been dealing with as much of that, like your system wasn't taxed as much metabolically. You're just kind of able to hold that zone one, zone two, sometimes zone three for the
Yeah.
whole time. And you were, like you said, super durable. So I wonder how much too of that, the crash after the the 100K was just, you were just pushing for so much longer, probably just slightly higher or much higher percentage of threshold, and your body
Yeah,
showed
and I can't even remember how long it took. I like the 100 mile. It took me 23 hours or something. I in my head, because I hadn't done any training, I was like, if I get this done within 24 hours, great.
it.
So
Hmm.
it might have been like 23 and a half hours or a bit less, something like that, which I was happy with. I was like, look,
Yeah, that's fantastic.
yeah, I just done 100 mile. I'm happy
Yeah.
enough. But I think
Hmm.
the 100K was about like 11 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
It was, um, I'm not sure. I'd need to look back at it, but um, to be honest, with ultras, I never done them for time. It was more for like mentally. I was like, if I can do this, then I can do anything.
Hmm.
Ultras are like the hardest thing you can, like they're definitely the hardest thing you can do.
Hmm.
Like when it comes to sport, in my opinion, like from everything that I've done, it would be. Actually, you know what? That 5K was probably.
I was gonna say they're still pretty hard.
I'd actually probably rather run 100 mile and do another 5K time test.
I think a lot of people would agree with you. Um, I think too, there's just so many things that can go wrong in 24 hours.
Yes,
Just so
definitely.
many things.
I couldn't consume any more food after like 75 mile. Like I couldn't.
Yeah.
So like the last 25 mile, it was just pure like mentally. It was like right, I'm just need to get this done.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is just, a lot of people don't finish their first 100 miler. Um, it's not always for lack of preparation, although sometimes it is because you don't know how your body's going to handle it until you do it. Um, a lot of the time it's stomach, it's being unable to fuel too early in the race. Um, and just not being able to continue. Most people, they drop around 40 and 50 miles. So it's probably really, really good that you had the previous experience of racing. Not maybe you said you weren't racing, but I'm sure you were still running the best you could for that 100K. You were probably like really confident with your fueling plan up until that 100K 75-mile mark
Yeah,
when things started to fall apart. So it's like really good that, even though you gave yourself 2 weeks to prep for it, at least you had the experience of fueling yourself for 60 miles under your belt to
yeah,
bring with you.
definitely. And I feel like probably giving yourself like those like only 2 weeks, I didn't have time to think about it. You know,
Yeah. You're like, well,
I was like, yeah,
I'm here now.
I guess I'm doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Who did you raise money for?
It was Term McGurk Cancer Care.
Hmm.
So that's where I'm from. I think we raised. I need to look back on it. Maybe 5 or 6 grand.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that was within like 2 weeks. Like so, people were really supportive. Um,
That's awesome. I
and
love
I,
to hear
I
it.
had a good crowd. Now that like this wasn't an actual race. Like this wasn't an event. This was just me being like, I'm running 100 mile around where I live, and
Oh God, so you're crazy. Okay.
if I was like, if people want to join me, and like the amount of people that came out to support and to run a few mile with me, it was great. They're all great
That's
people.
awesome. That's even more impressive, honestly, because not having, you could have quit at any time,
Yeah,
and
it would
the
have
only
like
person, you know what I mean? Like, that
yeah,
could have known was you, and you were like, no, I'm going to finish this thing. Like, that's just really, really impressive. Is when there's no finish line to walk through.
yeah. It was in fairness, like my fiance and my father were driving behind me for the last 20 mile, so it was really dark and like
Mhm. Yeah.
Kira was saying that my dad nearly run me over the stage because I was going that slow, and he was
Oh,
like
no.
he was talking to Kira and he took his eyes off the road. So it could have ended like a lot worse than what it did.
Why did you stop your 100 mile? My dad ran me over.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
In fairness,
impressive.
if he had have run me over, I probably would have thanked him. I would like,
That time. Yeah.
thanks for getting me out of that.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny whenever I in those like ultra Facebook groups and support groups and stuff, there'll be a person who's like, "Oh, I've never crewed an ultra marathon before, but I'm gonna go crew my friend for a 100 miler," and everyone's like, prepare yourself. Like for the person to want to stop, they're gonna beg you to find reasons to stop. Like they're gonna hate you if you make them
Oh,
keep going. Like you get cranky.
oh
It's
yeah, like it's mental. Like it's
yeah.
like I said to mum, I was like, it's the last 20 mile, and I remember being at the gym, and I was like, right, mum, because I was doing like it might have been like 8 mile loops at a time, and when I got to 80 mile, I was like, right, when I go out this time, I'm staying out. I'm getting it done. Like I'm not coming back here. So it was like every 8 mile, I would go in, refuel, go again. So um, I said to mum, find me a 20 mile loop. Just can you like I was like, can you drive it and I'll do it. But the the route that mum chose was the hilliest route ever. So like me and my brother set off. Connell done. I think he done the first 10 mile of the last 20 mile with me. So it was like 80 to 90 mile, something like that. And I remember thinking like, this is the worst route mum could have chosen for us. Like it was. I'm not joking. It was all uphills. I was like, she mustn't want me home. She
No,
must.
yeah, oh my god, she's probably just like, alrighty, well then this is
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
awful. She probably wasn't even thinking about it. She's just like, what's a
No,
safe road, for my son to
exactly.
be on?
And in
And
fairness to mum, it was 20 miles spot on. So
yeah.
it was here. I completed it, so I can't complain. I mean, it
Oh,
made me tougher.
yeah,
Hopefully,
yeah. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
yeah,
So how did you go from, a self-run, self-supported, I guess you had a team, but still self-run 100 miler to the tell me about this record you set on the ski erg. What did you just discover that you were really, really good at the ski erg? Kind of what did you discover that during HYROX training? How did you switch gears?
yeah. It's weird. I sort of when I started in that gym in Oma, I noticed my power output uh, was quite high. I didn't understand. I always just looked at like calories per hour, and I was like, "Geez, I can hit like 3,000 calories per hour." And like I was like, "That's pretty cool." Like because I hadn't seen anyone else doing it, and I was like, "Geez, I must be powerful in this." Now that was me obviously going like I don't hold that enjoyably, but like
Mm-hmm.
that's me going max output. But then it might have been last August. I was in HYROX for a while, and then I finished a race. I think it was Dublin. I could be getting my timeline mixed up. Maybe it was after the World Championships. I'm not sure. It was last year anyway, and it was the second half of last year. Um, and I seen Hugo Huge Mark. Is that his name? Hugo.
I
Where's he
don't know how to
from?
pronounce his last name.
But you know who I'm on about, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he's a great athlete, but I seen he held a one. What was it? A 151 per 500 for a marathon. And I was like, I'm not going to hold that, but I was like, I'd love to do a marathon on the ski just to see. And I ended up holding like a 153 per 500. I would need to look back, but I think it was something like that. And then I was like, that was honestly, it felt like zone two. And my heart rate was really low. I didn't take on any fuel during it, and I might have got it done within like it might have been 2 hours and 40 something minutes. And I was like, right, that felt good. And then someone in my Instagram, I don't want to butcher it and say their name wrong, but they sent me through the record, and they were like, you could beat Hugo, or I think he then went on to do a 149 per 500, which was like 2 hours and 33 minutes or 34 minutes. And in my head, I was like, I'm probably not going to do that, but I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
put it out online,
Yeah.
and it'll keep me accountable. So I was like, on the 28th of February, which was this year, I'm going to tackle the ski world record in my age group, and it just held me accountable. So then, honestly, I'm not going to lie, it was about a 6 week block that I put in, and I noticed that from being like more consistent with ski training, my form was getting better. I was getting like my paces, like I was doing 21 by 1,000 meters intervals, and they were all like 143, 142 pace. And I was like, right, this is good. I feel good. I got my half marathon time down to 116 or 115. Again, I don't want to say that and be incorrect, but it was something like that. And then I was like, right, okay, that's good. And it actually helped. I put out a video on Instagram. It might have been January time or February time, and it was like my strokes were like I was coming from up here right the
Mm-hmm.
way down. I was butchering it, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad I put it out because some fella commented going, "You need to read the ski manual," and I was like, okay, with like an investigator face. And then another fella commented under and saying he means that your ski form is poor. So he actually, that fella, the second fella that commented, he gave me two men to look at, like their profile, and I went on and again, I'm so bad with names, so I went on to one of their profile and looked at his videos, and I was like, right, okay, I'm just going to copy his form. So over the next few weeks leading into the marathon, I just developed that form and was able to hold a 146 per 500 for the marathon.
That's
Um,
insane. Yeah.
so I think if I finished 229.51, I think was the time. So it was sub 230. But yeah, I felt great. I think being around people again, like my support has been great. Everyone went
Mm.
over to the gym. Um, and they watched, like, again, Kira, my fiance, was there the whole day, or the full 3 hours or whatever, like the prepping time and all those, and then my family and friends from Dungannon. Again, you don't know where that is, but a lot of people came to watch and supported me, and that alone, I remember turning around at the half marathon, or like the half marathon point, and I was like to my brother, I'm going to break 230 here. Um, and I still had a full half marathon to go, but I was just in my head. I was like, "This is great. I feel great."
Mm-hmm. You
Um,
just knew.
yeah, I just know. I just knew. Sorry, and again, I have a nutritionist on board, and I'd say without her guidance, um, I wouldn't have got it because she put me through. She sent me through what I need to consume during the
Yeah, I was gonna
marathon
ask you how
itself.
you
Yeah,
handle the feeling.
exactly. Like, and I followed it to a T every 20 minutes. Um, Topping up with gels, topping up with carb drinks. So it was honestly without her as well. It was, yeah, I was able to get it.
That's
Right,
awesome. I love
thankfully.
that, like, I love that you consistently put yourself out there and try new things. And when you get feedback, you approach the feedback with curiosity and you bring experts on board and you like your family and friends and community support you. I'm assuming because you probably support them. Like it's just great to see that you're coming at this from such a healthy place, right? Like I speak to a lot of athletes um, who do crazy stuff, and it's not always that they mention who helped them or who showed up for them. So I just want to point that out too. That I think that just really
Thank
shows
you.
your character, and it's I don't want to say it's rare. There's so many beautiful, wonderful people, right? There's so many
Oh
amazing
yeah.
athletes out there. It's really special to hear that you like mention your family, mention your fiance, credit them, credit your nutritionist, the people who helped you, the ski videos that you watched. You were so curious and open. Um, I just want to point that out because I know that
Thanks.
we always focus on the numbers, but it's like it's all this other stuff that's getting you there.
Oh yeah, and even Sean McAnally, uh, he definitely, like, Sean was like, you need to go for it. He's always pushing me as well. Um, and again, yeah, he's been a big supporter. So need to give a shout out to Sean as well.
Yeah, he's the best. I just
Oh
love
yeah.
his energy. Because he won't tell you, he won't lie,
No, no.
never lie. So you know that if he says you have to go for this, like
Yeah,
you know he
exactly.
means it. Yeah.
Exactly, and if he thought you were training wrong or you weren't doing it right, he would just tell you, he'd be like, look. And I always, like, for this past 2 years, I've always got Sean's input in my training, because he has a wealth of knowledge. So he does. I keep on telling him to post more on social media because it's like people, more people need to know what he knows. Um, but hopefully someday, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
He,
Yeah.
he
He's
goes into
great.
like he goes into like wee streaks where he's like gets like a couple of days going, and then you mightn't hear from him for like 2 months.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's, I mean, all of us, I feel like coaches, especially people who are coaches who are in it for the love of the coaching. They're in it for the people, for the knowledge. They're always absolute shit at posting
Yes,
on the internet. Like,
it's
but
hard to do everything though. It is hard.
yeah, it's hard. It's to me, it's never something that I'm like, hey, if you don't post enough, I don't think you're a good coach. Like sometimes it's the opposite. It's like the profile where there's like 4 posts. I'm like,
Yeah,
they're probably really good.
yeah, and they're just too busy coaching.
Yeah. Doing their
Like
thing.
I try to be better on social media. Like this year especially, but like some of the posts I have to rush and I have to just try to get something out because I'm trying to run my own business and I'm trying to train 3 hours a day and I'm have so many clients or whatever, and you just can't do everything.
No. And I think it's important to remember too, like, if you, like you said, like, if you want to be a pro, if you want to be a fully paid and sponsored athlete, unfortunately, the only path to that is followers and views at this point, is
Yeah,
visibility.
exactly.
Um, but, if you're positive that that route is not going to be rewarding enough to
Yeah,
merit like the changes to your routine, I mean, please spend the time on your family and your
yeah.
friends and your clients and like your bottom line instead of social media. Cause like social media is so fickle. And like the wider your viewer base gets, the more people who don't appreciate you
I
show
suppose
up.
they don't know you. Like they
Yeah.
just
And they don't have to, right? Like they
yeah,
don't have,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
no rule that says that they have to.
No,
Um,
definitely not.
but it's definitely one of those things where the bigger your audience gets, the more you have to work to maintain it because all of these people on the like the fringes, they're not really invested in what you're doing, and they don't have to be. They have their own lives, they're busy, they have their own circle of friends. Like it makes sense, but it really changes the way that you interact with social media when you reach that like inflection point. Um, and I always like not warn people, but I'm always like, it changes the vibe. It goes from being this supportive place where you kind of know everyone by name
Yeah.
to this like you're constantly putting yourself out there and like, I don't know, it just changes the way you have to talk. Because you're like constantly reintroducing yourself and constantly like proving why people should follow you or stay. It really just changes everything. So it's a choice, and I don't think everyone should make it.
No, I know what you mean. I just think it's in this day and age, if you do want to become, as you said, a full time athlete, it has to be part of
Yeah. Oh
it
yeah.
has to be part of it because that's what sponsors want to see. Like they want to see a following and they want to see likes and they want to see so. Um,
Yeah. Why would they sponsor you if no one's going to see that they sponsored
exactly.
you?
It makes sense. Like
Yeah, yeah, you
you can't
cannot blame
complain.
them.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hmm.
So
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It just is a thing. And
yeah,
like being aware of how it's going to change how you interact um, with the internet and social media is just good to keep in mind. It also helps keep it healthier so that you don't always feel like you have to prove yourself. Like you're just posting to post. Like you're just getting content up there and people are happy with it. Like it's good. It's
exactly.
good. You don't have to put out a thesis every month.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so for your marathon, what drove you to choose the marathon distance and then the 242 sub 242 time? Was it like derived from your threshold, or is it like what kind of brought you to those numbers?
Um, Probably a couple of things. I want to prove that the big guys can move as well, and you don't need to be a certain body type to achieve the goal in running. Um, and I've proven that already, but I feel like marathon distance is something that everyone, especially everyone that train for a marathon, can look at and say, right, that's actually a crazy time. Um, and yeah, I towards the end of my half marathon run, I I struggled. I struggled with the last 2 kilometers, say the last mile. I really struggled. My muscles were like, obviously it was because I done that half marathon with 25 kilometers of running a week. So a lot of my training is spent on the ski, the row, and the bike, and then I mix it with running. So my running at the minute, I might run between 20 and 30 kilometers a week. Um, and for the marathon, I'm only going to do 50 kilometers, so
Mm-hmm.
which is about 20 something mile. Uh, so again, I just want to prove that it's possible. Now that could be completely delusional, and you could hear from me in September, and I could turn around and say I done it in 3 hours, or I done it in 3 hours and 10 minutes. But at least I tried it, you know. And I feel like I can do it, but I want to prove to myself that I can maintain a high pace, and I can make it through the marathon distance. At the 2:42. I think I was chatting to one of my friends who's a big runner, and he was saying, I don't know if this is correct. Your half marathon time, you double it and then add 6. Uh, so that would leave my that would leave my marathon time at the 2:42. I think in around the 2:42. So I just wanted to put it out there. That yeah, I'm going to go for the 2:42 at my weight, and I'm not going to lose weight, and I'm not going to change much in my training. I'm just going to knuckle down uh with the training and go out and hopefully obtain the goal,
Yeah,
2:42.
I think it's cool. I think it's cool that you're treating it like a just as much as an experiment as a challenge.
Yeah,
Um, I think that's awesome. And I mean, looking at your 5K time and your half marathon time, that's a doable pace. Like it's, yeah, what your friend recommended and like what you've chosen, like it's, you could do it. Like
yeah, I
it's
could, but I also might, like, you never know. Like over the marathon distance, you always hear horror stories of like hitting that wall at mile 20. And I've done a marathon before. I done a marathon, the Dublin Marathon. I've only ever done one competitive marathon, but it wasn't really competitive. I was training for an ultra marathon at the time, so I wasn't doing any speed training or anything. And I done like a 3:12, I think, 3 hours 12 minutes. Um, so here, if I beat that, it's a PB.
yeah, yeah,
if
yeah, yeah.
I
You set
go
a
for
pace
2:42,
regardless.
yeah,
Yeah.
if I go for a 2:42 and get 3 hours, at least it's a PB.
Hmm. Yeah.
um,
I love that mentality. I mean, for you, it's probably going to be just thinking about your nutritionist for the ski marathon. It's probably going to be a lot of nutrition for you just because keeping your body moving is so expensive. Um,
yeah,
It'd be so much more of a fueling battle for you than someone who's smaller. Not that it's impossible. It's just you're probably gonna have to eat a lot.
exactly. And like I hear a lot now of like smaller men taking on like 120 grams per hour of carbs, and it's like I would struggle to take that on. Like I do, like I think during that ski marathon, I think I took on about 80 or 90 grams per hour. But like I don't know, especially when I'm running. I know that the half marathon I had planned to take 3 gels, and I ended up only taking two because I
Mhm.
wasn't fit for the third one.
Yeah,
So again, these are all things that I'll
play
have to
with.
read up on and play with. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
If you just if you need any help, one of our coaches, Trevor, he's a cyclist. I think he's 230 pounds, and he's really experimented with high carb fueling.
Yeah,
Um, and I'm sure he could help if you ever, if just as an aside, like if you ever wanted to chat with him, he would probably love it. 'Cause I think he's tried everything from cereal to gummy bears to Swedish fish to like, so I'm sure, um, even just making your own fuel, he's tried it.
Yeah, I must actually do that. I took a gel on at that 10 mile race, and I took two on, sorry, and my second gel, I was going like a 3:35 per kilometer pace. I don't know what that is. I think it's like a
Fast. Yeah.
5:40,
Hmm.
something like that, maybe 5:30 something. I don't know. And I remember taking it, and it hit the back of my throat, and I started coughing it up. And I would say everyone that was watching was like, "This big fella can't run," because I was like
Yeah.
choking. So I was
Joking.
like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how I'm going to fuel. It's something I have to play about with, and yeah, I'm open to
Yeah,
suggestions.
I can connect you with him just as a as an aside. I think he'd love to chat with you about that because he likes to talk about that stuff. He's really into high carb. So I think he was taking in almost 200 on some of his bikes per hour. Um,
Jesus.
Now this is biking, right? Like it's very different than running, but just
Yeah,
you know the different sources he's getting it from, mixing them together. Um, if there's a way that we could find a solution for you where it's like maybe a super concentrated bottle rather than
yeah,
like gel packets or something, but we can talk about that. But yeah, I think that would be right up his alley because you're
yeah. No,
gonna
it's definitely.
that's gonna be a
I'll
big thing
definitely
for you.
listen to listen to him, because again, I'm no expert, so I'm not, especially in the marathon distance. Well,
But you don't have to
especially in
be.
running.
You just need to be able to run.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
But that's not until September. I've still got two big events to get through before
Which
that.
ones are coming up?
Next week, I've got the ATHEX Games. Have you ever heard
Oh,
of?
sweet. Hmm.
Yeah. So I've got that, and then I've got the HYROX World Championships.
Brilliant.
So
And
it's
are
weird training for two completely different. Like,
yeah.
the ATHEX, you're trying to lift heavy, and then it sort of eats into your your HYROX prep. So it's strange, but I was definitely better prepared last year for the World Championships. Let's just put it like that. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Are you competing at open or pro? Is there
At the
even
ATHEX
open
Games,
in world championships?
oh, World Championships Pro. I think I HYROX. It's always pro.
Yeah, there's no
And
open
with
anymore, is there? They removed
no,
it.
no, yeah, no, not at the World Championships. No.
Okay.
At the ATHEX, there's open and pro as well, but I'm doing the pro.
Of course. No, that's cool. Well, I'm excited. I'll follow along. If people want to watch and like follow along as you compete in these different events, because I'll probably have this podcast out within a week. Um, where can they follow you? Where's the best place? What's your Instagram handle? And I'll put it in the comments as well. But just where can they follow along and watch and see?
Yeah, so at the minute, I post mostly to Instagram. It's Aaron underscore Travers 4. I think that's what it is.
I'll post it in the comments.
Yeah, I think that's what it is anyway. But yeah, that's where I do most of my posting.
It's awesome. So we got Apex, HYROX, and then in September, your marathon. Um, Anything else on the horizon, or are you just focusing on kind of one thing at a time?
Yeah, I've got, so, well, I guess more like wee personal best sort of thing. It's no like competitions, but I want to hit 300 kilo deadlift. I want um sub 6 minute row, concept 2 row. I sub 6 minute I 2K row. I've got a friend in South Africa, uh Kyle Shunby. He was on the South African Olympics team for the rowing. So he sent me through an 8 week program. So I'm gonna hit that. Um it's all probably just gonna fall into one like training block, knowing me, but yeah, so that's another one. And then um I think that's like my two main. I'd like my squat to be 200 kilo as well. Um but hopefully them two lifts shouldn't be too far down the line.
That's awesome. It's a lot to work on, but I feel like you're reasonably close to all of it.
Yeah, I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be too far away. My deadlift at the minute's 270, and that was without relatively focusing on deadlift. And my back squat's 185, so another 15 kilo. But again, with weights, it takes time, so it does. You can't just add that overnight.
No, no. Yeah, and it's like the heavier you get, the longer it takes.
Yes, exactly.
Like people are like, oh yeah, I'm up to a 300-pound deadlift, so I'll be able to deadlift 400 pounds in 6 months, and you're like, oh, things are gonna slow down big time
Yeah,
now.
maybe 310.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it takes a lot of time.
especially bench. But no, that's awesome. It's been great chatting with you. Thanks for coming on. It's great to meet you. I'm excited for more people to find out about you. I think what you're doing is phenomenal. Your approach is phenomenal. Super humble, obviously very hardworking. So it's just cool. And yeah, I'll just put all the information in the comments if anyone wants to give you a follow, find out anything. And
Thank
we're
you.
here to help with anything that you need with Sean or the rest of our team if you need it.
Yeah. Oh, I'll definitely be in touch. I've Sean's head wrecked anyway, so
Yeah.
I'll I'll start wrecking the rest of your heads.
Perfect. All right.
Thanks for having me on.
Of course, Aaron. Thank you.